All right, we are good to go.
Good afternoon. This is the Professional Services Committee meeting for ALCOSAN. Today is July 11th, 2024. We'll first begin with the roll call. Ms. Prater.
Emily Kincaid. Dr. Shayna Tharp Gilliam. Darren Kelly.
Here.
Sylvia Wilson.
Here. All right, thank you. All right, I see there's no informational items today, so we're going to go straight to the action items. Item A is a motion to approve the following shortlist for the solar power generation of the operations and maintenance building. There are three: Interlogics, JMT, and McKim and Creed. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, yes, we have talked for some time about adding a solar power component to one, if not more, of our buildings. This will allow us to pursue that effort. We're going to get an assessment, design, and support through construction. I'll turn it over to the Director of Engineering and Construction, unless she would like to fight with the Director of Operations and Maintenance to talk about this glorious moment.
Well, it is for him, but yeah, so we put out a request for qualifications and we received good participation. We were very happy with the participation. And we recommend that these three firms move forward to get the RFP and have an opportunity to submit a proposal to look at the availability and viability of the solar power for the building, the O&M building, which is the building we sit in. So if you have any questions about the work or the firms, I'd be happy to answer them, but we're pretty excited about this particular procurement.
Wonderful. It's wonderful that we're moving forward with it. Darren, you have any questions?
No, ma'am. I will make the motion to approve and send up to the full board for approval, please.
Thank you. I'll second it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Item B is a motion to approve the following shortlist for the construction management services of the CIPP, rehabilitation of the Upper Sawmill Run and Lower Ohio Interceptor. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, we have 5 firms that we're shortlisting, which you're accustomed to seeing 3, but we had a large field of 10 who submitted interest and qualifications. Our manager of regionalization is going to speak to the project, what we're going to be accomplishing here. Julia Spiker, take it away.
Thank you, Arletta. Madam Chair, this project has been involving the lining of our Sawmill Run interceptor over the past several years to maintain the integrity of that infrastructure that's in place. This project would complete that lining for the interceptor of the upper portion, as well as address some needs on the lower Ohio interceptor as well. We're soliciting construction management and field inspection services as that project completes design and moves into construction. As Arletta mentioned, we received many statement of qualifications. We had a very competitive procurement process and are requesting these 5 firms receive requests for proposals.
Thank you. And the 5 firms are Answer Advisory, GPI, Hill International, JMT, KDG Construction Consulting.
Yes.
And Mr. Kelly, if you have no questions, I would wait for that motion.
Yes, ma'am. No questions. I'll move for a motion to approve the following short list and send it up.
And I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is approved. So we now move on to item C. The motion to recommend award of the miscellaneous HVAC improvements project to HF Lens Engineering and authorize the executive director to negotiate a fee. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, we obviously have HVAC needs, as everybody does, not just this time of year, but year round. And we have various facilities around the treatment plant that need to have those HVAC units looked at. This will provide for that. Turn it over again to the Director of Engineering and Construction, Ms. Kennedy.
Thank you, Arletta. So this is a little bit further along in the procurement process than the solar. We had already shortlisted, and this is based on the proposals that we received. We met and deliberated and looked at both of the proposals that we received, and strong teams continue to have good participations in our procurements that benefit ALCOSAN and the ratepayers. So HF Lens is well qualified to do these analysis that we need in three different spots at the plant. So originally they'll perform an evaluation, give us the results of the evaluation, and then put together contract drawings for the upgrades. All the work is definitely in need. So we look forward to getting started, but I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have on the individual project.
No questions here.
And that's a motion to approve.
So move.
I second it. Motion to approve. Excuse me. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is approved. Item D is a motion to recommend the modification of service authorization 353 to G. Stevens for additional work associated with the construction management services of the environmental compliance facility for an amount not to exceed $160,000. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, the board retained G. Stevens to provide construction management services for the parking garage and environmental compliance facility 4 years ago at this point. We are about to wrap up the environmental compliance facility. The garage is obviously in service. This will see us through with their services into the end of this year. Again, Kim.
Thank you, Arletta. We've been with G. Stevens, like Arletta said, for over 4 years now through the design reviews and bid phase services for both the parking garage and the environmental compliance facility. We're excited to bring that building online in the next 2 to 3 months. The project overall is behind, or it was originally slated to be done in April. It's now slated to be done in September. And that's sort of the reason why G. Stevens needs this a little additional fee in order to bring the project to conclusion, and then also complete the closeout documentation by the end of the year. We're very happy with the work. We're very proud of the building, and certainly recommend this additional fee.
Thank you.
Okay. Motion to recommend modification of service.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion will be recommended to the board. Item E is a motion to recommend the modification of service authorization 314 to Keystone Acquisition Services for an additional 2-year, no cost extension of services. This is to continue assisting with the property and right-of-way acquisition services associated with the Clean Water Plan. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, as you said, these services are to assist us with property acquisition as we continue to implement the Clean Water Plan for consent decree compliance. Keystone was originally retained in 2018. The initial contract was for a 3-year period with 2 extension years. We went back out for procurement. That was early spring of this year. While multiple firms attended the pre-proposal meeting, only one proposed, and that is Keystone. I will again go back to the Director of Engineering and Construction, who is our not quite certified, but bona fide in-house property acquisition specialist who can speak to this better than anyone.
Thank you for that introduction. So pretty happy to recommend Keystone for this extension. Like Arletta said, we did go out on the streets. Keystone was the only team that submitted, but we've been working with them since 2018. There was another firm also, if you remember, in 2018, we awarded property to 2 firms, but that firm decided not to resubmit. There's a lot of consistency with this team. They merged some of the subs, and this is a really important component of the implementation phase of the Clean Water Plan. It's we're happy with the services. And as we move forward, we'll continue to, bring this information to the board as needed. I'd be happy to take any questions as it relates to the property and right-of-way services.
Thank you. Mr. Kelly,
Motion to recommend modification of service authorization 314.
and I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is approved. Item F is a motion to recommend modification of service authorization 338 to MS Consultants for a 12-month no-cost time extension to complete the construction management services associated with contract 1724, which is about the flap gate replacements that will be at various locations around the county. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, yes, flap gate replacement contract. MS has been the CM, I believe, yes. So gate 034 had some unanticipated damage to it that has caused this particular contract to run out a bit. We will turn it over to the manager of wet weather programs, Tim Prevost, to talk more about the contract.
Thank you, Arletta. Madam Chair, the contract for the flap gate improvements at various locations has been in process for several years and for the most part substantially complete. But as Arletta pointed out, one of the flap gates was damaged, and upon investigation, it was noticed that there was an issue with how it was installed, and then the actual flap gate itself. It got sent back to the contractor. The contractor has been kind of delayed in their response. During the time for the contractor to address the flap gate issue, MS was instructed to cease any work on the job while the contractor was remedying the situation. This has taken a while. They're almost up with their service authorization, as Arletta pointed out. It's a no-cost time extension, so that now that we're getting close to resolving this issue with the one flap gate, we just want to be sure that we have the time to finish up this part and then close out the contract altogether. If there are any questions, be happy to try and answer them.
Motion to recommend modification.
I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And item G is a motion to recommend the modification of service authorization 358 for Hatch for an 18-month no-time extension to complete the design services associated with contracts 1763 and 1764 to construct 3 access shafts and associated improvements. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, this extension is rooted in a couple of things, most notably a need to acquire property. Once again, I will turn it back to Tim, please.
Thank you again, Arletta. Madam Chair, as Arla pointed out, we need to acquire property for these access shafts. And the need for the access shafts is so that ALCOSAN can gain access to our deep tunnels, which when they were constructed had limited access. And so over the years, we've been installing new places where we can get to our existing infrastructure, do work that is necessary to maximize the capacity in our interceptors. At A40, there is property interest issue that we need to work out with a railroad that's nearby. M49 in Rankin, Braddock area, we need to work out with the Allegheny County Economic Development folks. And then O15, Lowry's Run in Emsworth, there is some property that we need to secure some easements so we can do what is necessary to ensure that we are maximizing the flow and at the same time minimizing sanitary sewer overflows from one of our structures out there. And 18 months is the recommended time extension. And as you pointed out, no cost.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Motion to recommend modification.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
This motion is approved. For anyone just watching our Professional Services Committee meeting for the first time, we have 7 items that have been approved by this committee. They will be presented to the full board at the board meeting. And I want to thank everyone for all the great explanations to make sure that these are very clear about why these motions were presented and approved. And at this time, I think there's no new business, correct, Ms. Williams?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you so much. Then we are adjourned. Our next meeting will be September the 12th. Thank you all and have a great rest of the day. And thank you for everyone who prepares all this information for us.
Thank you,
you.
committee.
And
Thank you.